Welcome back to Beauty Marks Podcast, a space where we embrace our marks acquired through our journey. My name is Elizabeth Savillon, and welcome to another episode of this podcast. I'm very excited to be here in downtown Orlando recording my podcast with Hi Hello Labs, and you can check them out for any podcast, social media, any photography needs that you may have. They're amazing, and if you ever want to check out the studio, you should definitely do so. On today's podcast episode, I feel like I haven't really chatted with you guys. I know I've had a lot of guests and just different kind of topics in the last 2 to 3 months since I started this podcast on video platform. And so I just wanted to hang out and just have a more casual conversation today with you guys. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of the updates that I gotta give. And I also shared just things that I'm experiencing and processing through. And so if you haven't already, before we start, make sure to subscribe to this podcast, rate, review, that helps us grow. And also if you want to support the show, you can go to in the show notes down below. For all my ladies in Orlando, we have She Cultivates ORL, and we have events on the third week of every month. And so make sure to check out the community there where you can connect with others, make friends, and just cultivate friendships that are sometimes harder to make when you're an adult. And so this month we're actually having a brunch style event, and then every month throughout the summer we're going to be doing different activities to kind of just like get out of our routine. So make sure to follow She Cultivates ORL as well. So I know at the beginning of the year, I was sharing kind of my goals and things that I was focusing in on this year. And so this is kind of like an update of those things. So I know that I had shared with you guys that I started acting classes, which was amazing. And it was a 10-week program where I really got to learn different skills on being in front of the camera, but also just navigating, getting out of my head, which I'm still working through, as you can tell. And that is something that I really enjoyed because that was something that I always wanted to try, but I didn't know like when that would be. And then honestly, I sometimes would be like, I'm too old to take acting classes, until I went to the classes and I saw someone in their 60s. And then I'm like, what am I doing? I think we really downplay, or we really tell ourselves that we can't do stuff before we even give it a chance. And so I'm so glad that I did. And I've just been auditioning, and that has been a process. It definitely takes a lot of auditions before you get one, especially as a first-time actor. And I don't want to be like in movies, it's more like commercial locally. But I have auditioned for things like Disney roles and all of that. And it was funny because I did a commercial audition for being on a roller coaster. It was fun to do that. And so I'm really just trying to put myself out there and just hopefully land a shoot sometime in the summer. Another thing that was on my goals, or something that I wanted to do, was do a small group. And so I did an 8-week small group that I led at my house. And it was so nice bringing women together to talk about boundaries, and something that I share a lot about on here on the podcast. And so that was great. We literally met up every week, and it felt so nice hosting and just having people over, and it just felt like more intimate having a small group. And through that process, boundaries has been something that was like a reoccurrence in my personal life, working through some things still with like family boundaries and personal boundaries and dating boundaries. And so it was interesting that through that, like, God was also working in my heart of things that I still had to like let go and work through and heal from. And so that was such a great group, and I really miss it. And I really miss doing the daily practices and the weekly practices that we did, because we like dive deeper. The other thing in the past few months is that I have been doing the She Cultivates events, which have been so much fun. We've done different things, from vision boarding, Galentine's event. We did like a mental health check-in event, as well as we did a salsa class. And then this month is our brunch. And so every month has been so nice to reconnect with people that I haven't seen in years, that show up at the events, and also meet new faces and connect with new people that have the heart and want to connect with others. And so it's been great to experience that, and just also realize the hope that we have with finding genuine friendships. I know that friendships is still an area that a lot of us are navigating as adults. And so I feel like that has been healing to see like there's a community of people that really want to have genuine friendships and deeper conversations and relationships as we grow and evolve, and how important community is. And so that has been really rewarding, and honestly, I'm just so grateful for the community. I would say the biggest thing that has happened though in the past few months was that my sister is getting married very, very soon. And so by the time this episode posts, she would already be married. But literally, we did a bachelor party. We went on a trip. We went on a weekend cruise, and that was so much fun. We did like a heels class here locally with her friends, which, girl, if you haven't tried one of those, definitely should. It definitely boosts your confidence and shows you all the things you don't know to do with your body because it was just so funny. We're like laughing at each other, but like rooting each other on, like, yeah, girl, do that body roll. But we were also just like, what are we doing? We don't do these kind of things. So it was really fun to do. And also just spending time with her friends and just seeing her happy. I feel like a lot of people have asked me, like, how do I feel about my sister getting married? And I'm just so happy for her because she has found the love of her life. And the other day she was reading actually her vows to us, to me and my sister and my brother-in-law. And we were just all in tears. Like, how is this happening? She grew up way too fast. I still remember my sister as like young, small. We would put her in a bucket and just like carry her around when she was a baby and just having such like a good time. Like Kat, something that a lot of people don't know about Catherine, because she is more introverted, is that even though we physically can look like each other, but we have very different personalities. And she is definitely, though, a goofball, and she always brings so much joy to our lives. And so, Kat, I'm just so proud of you, and I'm so happy for you, and I can't wait to party it up and have so much fun for your wedding week and weekend. So we have, at least for this week, we will be doing like pedicures. We're catching up with family and just having time to really soak it all in, because I feel like it's just happening so fast. Like, we helped her move into her apartment, all these things, and I just feel like that has been happening in the midst of just life happening, and it has just been so exciting though. And I think that that is something that I'm glad we're able to share this moment together and being present, because in the midst of the past few months that have honestly have been a lot. And I feel like it's just been like, I felt it in my body, which I told you guys that I definitely now, after looking at like my goals, and I did like a reset, sitting down of, okay, like how are the next 3 months going to look like? I realized that I was kind of on automatic. And then now I'm like, taking a breath and like trying to take it in, because I don't want to miss what's happening. Like, I don't want it to be like, okay, her wedding's checked off the list, or like a really important moment. So I checked in with myself like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, okay, what are my priorities? How can I like be still in the midst of when busyness is happening? Because it's like, I know that a lot of people say like, oh, well, it's just busy season, so I'm in automatic. But I feel like you finding those little moments, those pockets of moments where you can be like, okay, I'm here, or like, well, I'm here with her getting a pedicure, I'm gonna be here, not like thinking about the million things that I have to do, because the million things that you have to do probably are still gonna be there after you get out of there. So those are the ways that I have learned to kind of be present in the areas that I can, and honestly setting my boundaries to say no to certain things that, because I have a lot on my plate right now, I can't do. So it's like, in the next 2 weeks, it's like, okay, my focus is just getting through, like my day-to-day things that I have for work, but also doing things for the wedding. And so from after that time happens and after that event happens, then I can focus on other things. And those are the ways that when people ask me like, how do I like balance things, I feel like it's not a balance, it's more of like figuring out what works for you, and what makes you stay a little bit sane, because sometimes we overwhelm ourselves with more than doing less and being able to enjoy the things that we should enjoy. So that is a little recap of the past few months. Right now, I feel like I am focusing on my podcast, doing the events for She Cultivates, and things that I have, because we have this summer, we are doing our 3-year podcast party, which I'm so excited about. And actually, it was so cute because I finally hit a milestone that I had on my goals of certain downloads and just stats that I had. And so then yesterday, I'm wearing it today because my mom got it for me, and it says, it's a little charm that says, "You did it." And so it's a little charm bracelet that she got me. And she's like, put all the things that are important to you on here now. And so I actually haven't had a charm bracelet in a very long time. And then pink for the branding, of course. And so it was just a really cute small detail that she got me. And that's really big on celebrating your small wins. I feel like because you're in a busy a flow and just movement, you miss those little things. But this is a reminder of like celebrating the small wins, because I said it out loud and I was like, oh my God, I hit one of my goals. And then she's like, awesome. And so like my family all were like really excited. And then it was kind of like, okay, on to the next thing. But then it's like the reminder of celebrating the little things as we go along, and just being present, checking in with yourself, and all the exciting things that are happening. Because even during busy seasons, there can be great things that are happening. And I know the past few weeks I have had episodes on keeping peace and how to manage stress, because I'm processing that too. And so it's not something that I can say that I've mastered, but it's something that I'm working through to learn to manage, because there's sometimes that we need the check-in. And so during the She Cultivates mental health event, they gave us kind of a worksheet to do. And so that's what I did like 2 weeks ago. It was like a check-in. So I wanted to share it with you guys today. So it was it's like a little self-care assessment for you. So it's how physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, professionally, and it's like a checklist. So it's like checking in with yourself to see how I'm doing in these areas. So it's like on the ways that you're eating healthy foods, taking time to move your body, things that you're doing with like social, like are you spending time with people that refuel you? When it comes to spiritual, how's your time with Jesus? Like, are you prioritizing or putting time into that? Because sometimes our soul needs that like rest and peace in the midst of those busy seasons. And so this was something that was really helpful to me to see what areas I can like be better in and kind of move towards, because I know that now the areas I feel like my social tank is full. It's more now just prioritizing like my time with God, and also like continuing doing the things that I enjoy, because during the busy season, it's like I felt like I couldn't really like go to my salsa classes all the time and like go to the gym as much as I could. Like I was just trying to navigate it a little differently. So it's having having grace with yourself during that time, but also understanding the areas that you can focus on. So thank you so much for tuning in to this week's podcast episode. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this podcast, leave a review, share it with a friend, and I will see you guys next week.